Look at your hands for a moment. Not at the screen you're holding, but at the hands themselves. They have worked, they have loved, they have carried the burdens of 4, 5, or 6 decades. But when was the last time they were truly still? When was the last time you weren't available? We live in a world that treats your attention like a mineral to be mined. You are expected to be reachable at all hours, to have an opinion on every global crisis, and to maintain a lifestyle that requires a soul-crushing amount of maintenance. You feel it, don't you? That low-frequency hum of anxiety, that feeling that you are running a race on a track that has no finish line. In 1845, a man named Henry David Thoreau looked at the busy, industrializing world of New England and decided he had seen enough. He didn't just complain, he disappeared. Not forever, but long enough to realize that most of us are laboring under a mistake. Today, we are going to walk into the woods with him to find out what happens when you finally stop running. Thoreau famously wrote, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation." If those words stung in the 19th century, today they are a piercing alarm. For the American generation currently in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, this quiet desperation often looks like a well-manicured lawn or a high-limit credit card. You've done what you were told. You built the career, you raised the family, you checked the boxes. But the more we were promised has turned into too much. We have more friends on social media, but fewer neighbors we can trust. We have more conveniences, but less time than our grandfathers had. The modern midlife crisis isn't always about wanting a red sports car. Often it's a deep, aching hunger for simplicity. It's the realization that you have spent the best years of your life paying for a life you don't have time to actually live. We are burnt out, not because we are doing too much, but because we are doing too little of what matters. Thoreau saw this coming. He saw his neighbors becoming tools of their tools. He saw people spending their days plowing fields just to pay for the mortgage on the field. He asked a question that we must ask ourselves today. What is the cost of a thing? His answer was revolutionary. The cost of a thing is the amount of what I will call life which is required to be exchanged for it, immediately or in the long run. Every hour you spend stressed about a status symbol is an hour of your lifeblood you will never get back. This is the golden chain we are breaking today. We are moving from the noise of the marketplace to the clarity of the pond. Let us travel back to July 4th, 1845. While the rest of America was celebrating independence with fireworks and speeches, Henry David Thoreau was declaring a different kind of independence. He moved into a tiny self-built cabin on the shores of Walden Pond. He didn't go there to be a hermit. He went there to live deliberately. Thoreau realized that our lives are cluttered with clutter. He lived in a room that was 10 by 15 feet. He had 3 chairs, 1 for solitude, 2 for friendship, 3 for society. He realized that when you have less to clean, less to repair, and less to protect, you have more room to think. For you, in 2026, this doesn't mean moving into a shack in the woods. It means the Walden of the mind. It's about auditing your life and realizing that many of the things you think are necessities are actually shackles. Thoreau found that by working only 6 weeks a year, he could meet all his expenses and spend the rest of his time reading, walking, and observing the miracle of existence. Imagine that. What if you didn't need that second job? What if you didn't need the latest upgrade? What would you do with the 40 hours a week that currently belong to your employer or your creditors? Thoreau spent hours just sitting in his doorway from sunrise till noon, wrapped in a reverie. In our world, this is seen as laziness, but Thoreau argued that this was the most productive time of his life. He was growing like corn in the night. We have lost the ability to be alone with our thoughts. The moment there is a gap in our day, we reach for the phone. We fill the silence with the noise of other people's lives.
Thoreau understood that solitude is not loneliness, it is the companion that allows you to hear your own heart. In midlife, this silence is where the legacy is born. It's where you decide what you want the final third of your life to stand for. Thoreau was a scientist of the soul. He believed that the spiritual world was not somewhere far away in the heavens, but right here, under our fingernails and beneath our feet. Modern life encourages us to look for the big things. Thoreau teaches us the small way. He found more majesty in the battle between two ants than most people find in a cathedral. When you learn to see the infinite in the infinitesimal, you become rich in a way that no stock market crash can take away. You start to realize that heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. How do we connect this 180-year-old experiment to your life in the digital age? It's through the concept of the deliberate choice. The goal isn't to stay in the woods. The goal is to bring the woods back into your life, to be the person who can walk through a shopping mall or scroll through a feed and say, how many things there are that I do not want. That is true power. That is the ultimate freedom of the elder. The power to say no so that your yes actually means something. You cannot move to Walden Pond tomorrow, but you can start building your cabin today. First, define your sufficient. Write down exactly how much money and stuff you actually need to be comfortable and happy. When you define enough, the anxiety of the race begins to evaporate. Second, practice digital Sabbath. Every Sunday or every evening after 6 p.m., turn off the noise. See what thoughts bubble up when you aren't being told what to think. Third, the Daily Saunter. Start a 20-minute daily walk without headphones. Listen to the wind or even the sound of your own breathing. And fourth, the Simplify one room. Pick one corner of your home. Remove everything that is not beautiful or useful. Let it be a physical reminder that you do not need much to be whole. As Thoreau prepared to leave his cabin, he wrote, I learned this, at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. Success isn't about what you've accumulated, it's about how much of yourself you've managed to keep. You have worked hard for everyone else for a long time. It is time to work for your own soul. The woods are waiting, even if they are only in your mind. Before you go, I want you to think about one thing. If you stripped away your job title, your bank balance, and your social status, who is the person left standing in the mirror? Tell me in the comments, what is one thing you've been carrying that you are ready to put down? Your story might be the light someone else needs to find their way out of the dark. Stay deliberate. Stay wise.